See, CoreWeave cooling off, but Circle is not. Most stocks look like they're down. aTyr deep dive is a good idea. Maybe we should do that. Tokenization is really cool. I like it. This is trashy right here. Nibbles in the back. Nibbles watching our back right now. And then I'm gonna have my baby too. It's gonna be a big squad. I don't know if rare is a buy. You know, it's unbelievable. I was working it up and these results came out. Grok 4's release. They don't get along, but they've been getting along a little better lately. But sometimes they have a little hissing match, a little. Okay, I'm upgrading to Super Grok Heavy. Should be fun. Just want to try it live. See what it can do. See what this bad boy can do. It's only $300 a month. Not bad for super intelligence, hey? I like that they called it heavy because it's like a rocket thing, right? Okay, we have Grok, Super Grok Heavy, or Grok 4 Heavy. It's the first thing we want to ask it. Okay, current quantum computers are very limited. IBM fields a 150 qubit box we can rent. Is there any way we can exploit the machine such that we can implement Shors in a piecewise manner or some other hybrid with our classical GPU cluster to achieve state-of-the-art performance on integer factorization? That's exactly why you want to ask it, so you could see if the answer is right or not. Well, Grok 4 Heavy will do some thinking, I guess. What is this? Agent 1, 2, 3, and 4? It's fancy. Anyway, let's look at the market a little. Type most in your terminal. Whether you use my terminal or the competitor's up to you, but you must use the terminal if you're a serious investor. NVIDIA's traded the most. It's down 50 basis points. It's $4 trillion. Wow. American Airlines traded second most. What's going on with our friend American Air? Good earnings. Delta is okay. Delta is doing well, so that's why. But why would American be more than Delta though? MP Materials, get some government contract or something. Big Bear, kind of a scam company a little bit. Plug Power is trading a lot as always because it's a dollar stock. We should have a screener that stops the dollar stocks. I really gotta, let's do that. Stock price minimum, what do you think? Because volume is just gonna be constantly driven by lower price stocks. And what you could also do is do most by, sort by average volume. So yeah, we have market cap minimum. I keep that on 500, but you can lower it to 0 and you get all the penny stocks. Some guys like to do that. 50 if you like small caps. 500's not bad actually. Yeah, but I don't care about every day Plug Power is on there, and the trading 30 million shares for Plug Power doesn't really mean anything because it's a $2 stock. It's a lot of the same ones. Open Door's always on here. Lucid, this weird one, like, so you could do a screener of average day 30 volume or something like that. I'm negotiating with Vlad right now. He's pushing back. I'm gonna tell him, who's the boss, bro? You can't click to sort here, actually. Not sure why you would want to, because we have that value here. But that would be neat, actually. We could click to sort. My coworkers are my partners, okay? Those are my people. By value, it's always the same kind of like generals. Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD, Palantir, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Taiwan Semi, Broadcom, UNH, Oracle, Netflix, Alphabet, and then you get the couple of weird ones that are going crazy, like today MP. I'm guessing, is MP just a defense contractor or something like that? Rare earth mining, okay. Those stocks have been hot. And then, Coinbase and, well, Coinbase is kind of like, I guess Coinbase and Strategy, you could argue, are quote unquote generals now, but hate to admit it. Circle, Coinbase is cool. Strategy isn't. Circle, Robinhood, Delta, again, up on great earnings. What's Pengu? I don't know what that is. That sounds like garbage. Is that a short? Yeah, I mean, listen, they got 100 billion cap. What, how do you argue with that? I mean, obviously it's still short. Okay, no, current hybrid quantum classical approaches using limited hardware cannot achieve state-of-the-art. Look, it only gave me a paragraph. They can't factor numbers. They don't scale. Noise, error rates, bottlenecks. Claims of scaling have been debunked. Piecewise implementation is not feasible. This is Grok 4 heavy. It just came out last night, and it's, seems to be the state of the art. So I don't know what you're talking about, William. You might want to zip it. I don't know. It does read scientific publications, yes. It might just read abstracts, that's true. But it can browse the web. It seems like it can read PDFs. Okay, so let's see how it explains this. Sketch of ideas pursuing state-of-the-art integer factorization. Last big factor number was 2020 using GNFS. 2,700 core years. That's not bad. That's pretty good, I think. I have like my own standard. Yeah, I can't find SuperQ. Maybe on thinkorswim you can't do Canada. That's the case? Maybe. I like Regeneron, yeah. The quantum's picking up again. That's weird. I don't like that. What do you mean hedged with what? I buy stocks I like. I short stocks I don't like. It's that simple. Yeah, of course, Hawk. Yeah. The only reason they bought the warrants was to short the stock. And they're not, what's interesting is they're not trying to take a directional bet. They're trying to short the vol because they got long vol really cheap. So all I have to do now is short vol, both calls and puts. China is definitely in economic trouble. They don't want the smoke. They're the first to cave with those tariffs. I've stimulated all they can, I think. I think that situation's much worse than it looks. Chinese unemployment's like 30-40% for some age cohorts. All their smartest people come to America. Not all of them. Just many, many smart people in China. It's weird that they don't seem to compete for Nobels and stuff like that. Yeah, they stopped reporting economic numbers in many cases. Sorry, guys, I'm in like programming mode. I want to make you the best software in the world for the stock market. So I kind of have to, but yeah, Grok's been running for 5 minutes on this thing. The agents are all, yeah, Maz, that's the 30K account, but I added 20K in margin support. So because the thinkorswim or Schwab margin system is so bad. So just subtract 20K. That is just there to support the margin. Let's go, South Beach. I think my South Beach days are behind me. I got a baby coming. Crazy. My life's about to change, guys. I'm gonna have my own son. No, I need a name. I was gonna name him Ionq, but I think the grandparents wouldn't like that. Shout out to the grandparents if they're listening. And of course my mom too. I hate when it does that existing code. Ugh, makes me work. If you're gonna vibe code, just vibe code. Set cell, clear cell, and select. Yeah, I want to learn Go. Yeah, Vor looks like overvalued. I was considering shorting it. The deal they did, the financing they did is it's not, I don't think it's toxic, but it's just the market cap is much, much, much bigger than it looks. Having said that, lupus isn't a small disease. I mean, they could do Benlysta numbers, but there's still a lot of risk. It's not even clear Benlysta was supposed to work. So I'd stay away from it. You're not missing anything. There's better situations to be involved in. It's basically a recap. The prior company failed, so they're rebuilding it with some new assets, and it could be interesting. But I'm curious if my buddy A27 or Skilo have heard of it, or not heard of it, but I've looked into it. I think Skilo's out doing something. Podocytopathy, people are using that phrase. They used to call it lupus nephritis. What's the world coming to? Vor, V-O-R. Wow, Grok's still running, 13 minutes. I gave it a tough question. Portfolio bouncing hard here. Good day for the shorts, I guess. Learning a language is a cheat code to life? What, like a computer programming language? I mean, you have to learn language to communicate. Okay, so Vor is a short. There you have it. I trust my man. I trust my mans. Hey, so you're talking about me? Oh, I see what you're saying. I haven't looked at Moderna in a while. I mean, the CMV vaccine was their main thing. Look at my little monkey. My cat likes to sleep next to the GPU. It's nice and warm. Warms her butt. I'm too busy working, Chris. I got time for all that. AWS Shkreli. Grok's still thinking 17 minutes. I love that. Hope it didn't break. I can't wait for INmune to go to $1. All right, so somebody made a really good suggestion to look at aTyr. I just want to do a quick push on my models repo. We looked at Cala yesterday. It was pretty interesting. Why would you short NVIDIA? It's the best company in the world. Watch the Grok 4 launch last night, and you'll be convinced to buy NVIDIA. NVIDIA is actually still really cheap. It's going to hit a 10 billion cap. I predicted this 2 years ago that it would be the first 10 billion cap ever. Life is the same being a felon or not a felon. Life is life. There's no difference. I don't really care if it's... Chanos is short NVIDIA? I don't know why people stand this guy, man. I'm telling you, I like the stock. As a felon, it's more difficult getting a legit job. I'd say in general, that's probably true. But that's just a different life choice. People who are inveterate criminals, they've made a very different choice to live life in a different way. That's their choice. And the ones that are, kind of repentant, I think they'll find a way back to society. It's not that big of a deal. But if you've decided to become a gangster, I don't know what to tell you. That's your choice. You're going to live life pretty differently. Some people want to live their life. There's all kinds of alternative lifestyles. You've probably heard of a few of them. You could be a furry, for instance. Straight up tell people, I'm an animal. I identify as a tiger. We don't use Mongo, no. Certainly not in production. I have one tiny Mongo system. That's one thing I did learn in jail, is that people are people. Everyone's sort of the same. Well, a lot of people will hire based on ability. And if people feel like, you've been unfairly demonized, then they may even feel like they want to give you a second chance. It brings some joy to them to be able to do that. So certainly, some of it is about your own attitude and perspective. Everyone has limitations. Some people are born and they can't hear, or they can't see, or they have some other disability, and you gotta, it's a lot harder living life with osteogenesis imperfecta than it is, having a misdemeanor on your record or something like that. We use Postgres for production, but we also use ClickHouse. We have like 10 databases. It's wonderful. We obviously, use things like Redis too. Plus, after they indicted Trump, being a felon just doesn't have that ring. It just doesn't have that ring to it. Oh, I'd much rather work at Elliott than go to Harvard. It's a no-brainer. Wait, 𝗎𝗍𝗓s has a position in ClickHouse? Is that the Russian connection, maybe? I don't know. Laura, I need a co-host for my stock stream. I want to get a studio and do a daily stock stream. Pays really well, but you have to understand stocks pretty well. I mean, you might not be interested. And it's New York City only. I was going to make a Craigslist for it too. Katie has her own marketing thing, so if anything, Katie would help me find somebody. I think she just does streaming on the side. I've talked to her. There's Backstage, but Backstage is, I posted an ad on Backstage, which is like an actor thing, and they deleted it. They refunded my money. They're like, no, we will not sponsor evil. You're not allowed here. Trump's not allowed here. Only 𝗦𝗏𝗏 supporters. Yeah, the position pays over 100K, yes. I don't know, LD. If I knew when trades would make money, I would only do the trades that made me money immediately. Wouldn't you? No, she's cool. I mean, I think she's got her own company and marketing agency that she's growing. So we could be a client of hers, but I don't know that. Yeah, what's happening next week? But I honestly do think that there's a major deficit for this new generation in financial information and entertainment. Like, CNBC is worthless. CNBC is worthless for all generations, but I think that certainly for the new generation, it's just useless. I don't think an AI co-host would work well, no. Best portfolio optimization techniques I have, Pray, Grok running still 37 minutes. Maybe something broken here. I mean, I love it. Keep thinking, Grok. That's what I'm paying you for. I don't think too many funds played the tax game too much because a lot of funds are trading with in tax-free accounts. I don't want to refresh. Completed in 3 minutes. You're right, it was a bug. It's Cubo idea. I told you no quantum. Yeah, that's an interesting one, Josh. Net income and free cash flow mathematically have to equal each other eventually. With companies with low capex, they're basically the same to begin with. Now, notice I'm not talking about GAAP net income. I'm talking about adjusted net income, pro forma. Maybe, Alberts, maybe. I like the fact that they're doubling down on blood testing. That's like a very cool. That's the guts to keep doing the same thing. He wants to vindicate his wifey. That's cool. It doesn't matter what you forecast, as long as you forecast in the future correctly. That's all that matters. But if I'd say PE shops or investment banks, you got to be prepared to do it their way. Hedge funds, you get a little more latitude. No, I don't know anything about QS. This drug is called 𝗍𝗫𝗏𝗪. 𝗍𝗫𝗏𝗪. aTyr looks like a binary event coming up. Yeah, probably hood one. I'm just waiting. I'm in the cut. Russell 2000 or NVIDIA? I mean, what time period? NVIDIA can't grow to 100 billion, can it? 100 trillion, can it? Well, maybe it can. So it's kind of hard in the long run for any given stock to truly outperform an index that has survivorship bias. It's actually pretty hard because an index has the magic ability to recalibrate and readjust. Can't do that with stocks. I wish they would put the CRLs out for the rejections they've gotten. Like NVIDIA margins might go up. Yeah, Barry, usually when I feel high conviction on some of these things, I go ham. But there's stuff I have high conviction on and I go ham, and they don't have to be in biotech like I did Meta years ago. Some people remember that trade. I'm obviously short quantum now. I don't keep in touch with Kramer, no. Yeah, this Grok heavy bug is not good. All right, okay, it's still running. In that case, no placebo. This is like the trial from INmune. They were running 3 doses, but no placebo. It's like, bro, you need a baseline. Some of you didn't pay attention in high school. I was sitting there in the front row like this. Teacher, I got this. Taking over the biology class. Maybe they did have a placebo. It doesn't say here. The new trial has a placebo? I hope. Sarepta lawsuit from who? Is it Levi and Korsinski? Or Rosenlaw Group? Yeah, Google needs a new CEO. It's pretty obvious. I like to make the bet typically that uninterpretable data is usually just data that drug doesn't work. That's usually the interpretation you can make. Yeah, I think it's I think that many groups are going to be competitive in making good AI. I think the hard part is going to be selling it. And OpenAI certainly seems to be doing well there. But so is Anthropic. And it's not really clear how well Google's doing selling AI, and it's not really clear how XAI is doing yet, but they're looking pretty promising. Okay, so this is a phase 3 trial that we're going to see results of, no? Yes. As EFSO fit. Ballsy to go into this study without much data. Yeah, you got to show a signal in phase 2 to make it in phase 3, of course. I don't know if it's a race to the bottom. The privately held AI companies they're doing something like 20 billion in revenue in aggregate. The rest of the software industry ain't growing that fast, I'll tell you that. I don't think people like to do open, do you provision your own CRM? No, you go to Salesforce. So open weight stuff doesn't really make a difference. Well, you go into a clinical trial not just to get better, but also, to advance the research for everybody that has the disease. Therapeutic doses of efzofitimod demonstrate efficacy in pulmonary sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis, that was Dr. House, expert in sarcoidosis.
Apparently it's happened again. I finally have a case of lupus.
Good old 𝗔𝗔𝗥𝗧𝗜𝗢. Big Lupus is GSK. Used to be Human Genome Sciences way back when. All right, let's read this bad boy. This post hoc analysis of a phase 1b/2a trial. How do you do a post hoc analysis of a 37 patient trial? Okay, there's a primary publication here. This is not it. So it was published in Chest. You guys subscribe to Chest? It's a medical journal. There's also Blood. There's some really funny named journals. Lancet's kind of too woke for me. I'd rather, if you had to pick one journal, I would read New England. I'm sorry, why are the baselines different? Why don't they? This just looks like noise. Well, I will say that That orange line looks okay, but I'm sure there's a catch. Also, 1 or 2% FEV is not any much. Most popular but least credible. That's a good one. Science, I'd say. What else? Plus one. Science and plus one are kind of more... It's not hard to do, Clark. We can do that. Okay, so there's some activity here, theoretically. Yeah, private equity is great. I've done private equity many, many times. Private equity is just buying assets that are not publicly traded, right? That includes venture capital, that includes LBOs, that includes all kinds of things. Private credit. Developers. We're looking for full stack developers, especially people who have some experience in finance. We will pay up to $300K a year. Cy-Am is public, Cy-Am is like a layperson mostly. Nothing wrong with it, it's pretty good, but it's not a peer review journal. We'd hire a remote developer if and only if they were an expert in financial systems. Of course, equity is the most important part of the comp. Just send me an email. No, you cannot work for free. Yeah, if you're not in New York and you're not a financial information, aka markets, programming expert, then we are not a fit. We're looking for the one guy that knows a lot about bonds and options and things like that. It's done that professionally. Programmed huge scale systems for ingesting stock prices, things like that. If there's a woman that does that job, I haven't met her yet. I haven't even seen a resume for a woman with that job. This will be the best paying job you'll ever have. It's a really great environment, great team. People who ask for a high salary lose the big picture. Would you rather make $500K a year at Goldman or make $50 million a year when we sell our company? I'm sorry, $50 million when we sell our company in 2 or 3 years. And people that choose $500K, they're not meant for this world, man. You know all the people that work for Peter Thiel at PayPal? They all made $150K. That's David Sachs, Luke Nozick, huge superstars. All the PayPal mafia. Oh yeah, that works, Malad, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, really, if you work there for a year or something and you're not an expert in financial data, then probably not. But, you know, happy to give you my honest opinion. That is right, 10% since the start of the challenge. Well, equity is very precious, right? We have to be very judicious about how we give out equity. It's not some simple... The pie on equity has to equal 100%. And our investors also... the problem with Roivant, or this specific job, is there are very, very, very few people who do it. And they're pretty high demand. Yeah, we have deals with every big exchange and things like that. We are... I was on our all hands team call yesterday. I think there were 17 people. Pretty lit. I would not sell Goodell for $50 million, no. That would be very undervalued. That's what we're hoping for. Even the young bloods get 50 M's. Young blood. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, Clark, but I hope so. We've been talking to CME nonstop. We're not trying to market yet. We will market at some point. No, we gave up on drug-like. Couldn't get revenue. I would love to do a stream with 𝗏𝗏. We're retooling our options product. I hired this German guy to do it. You know the Germans make good stuff. No, I just got started on aTyr. As you know, I like to put in serious work. So I don't like being wrong. I was just saying, you know, she's a little old lady. She likes her chin scratches. And she misses my dad just as much as I do. That's right. That's right. She's a good little kitty.